Be me. 32-year-old feminist, married to husband for 6 years now. He works as accountant making decent salary around 85K annually. I work in non-profit sector making about 45K doing social justice work. Consider my work more meaningful, even though pays significantly less. We live comfortably in nice apartment with his income covering expenses, split bills proportionally based on income. So I pay about third. He covers mortgage, car payments, insurance, and most major expenses. I contribute to groceries, utilities, and some smaller household costs. Arrangement works fine financially, but bothers me ideologically somehow. Feel like he should be earning more given his education experience. Start making comments about his lack of ambition and career drive. Year into marriage, begin criticizing his career choices more openly. Ask why he's still at same company when he could be making more. Tell him he should be aggressively pursuing promotions and raises. Point out his college friends who are making 6 figures now. He says he's happy with his job and work-life balance matters. Tell him happiness doesn't pay bills and he needs to think bigger. Start comparing him to other husbands who earn more than he does. My friend's husband makes 120K at tech company I mention regularly. Another friend's partner just got promoted to senior manager, high salary. Feel embarrassed when friends talk about their partners' impressive careers. Meanwhile, my husband seems content with his modest accountant position. Begin viewing his contentment as lack of ambition and drive. 2 years in, and my criticism becomes constant daily occurrence. Every conversation somehow turns into discussion about his income potential. He comes home from work and I ask if he talked to boss. Mentions he's satisfied with annual cost of living increase he gets. Tell him that's pathetic and he should be demanding real raise. He says his salary is competitive for his position and experience. Argue that competitive isn't good enough. He should be exceeding expectations. Start leaving articles about salary negotiation and career advancement around. Send him job postings for positions that pay more than his current. He gets frustrated and says he likes his job and doesn't want move. Tell him he's settling and it reflects poorly on both of us. Notice my friends starting to pick up on my dissatisfaction with income. Complain to them about his lack of career ambition during girls' nights. They listen sympathetically and agree their husbands are more driven financially. One friend suggests, maybe I should focus on increasing my own income. Get defensive and explain. My nonprofit work is about impact, not money. Tell her someone has to do meaningful work even if it doesn't pay well, but still expect my husband to prioritize money since my work doesn't. Friend gives me strange look, but doesn't push back on my logic. Continue complaining about husband's income to anyone who will listen. Become known among friends as woman whose husband doesn't earn enough. He overhears me complaining to friend on phone one night about finances. Asks why I'm telling people he doesn't provide when we live comfortably. Tell him it's not about providing, it's about reaching his full potential, 3 years in and resentment building on both sides of marriage. I'm resentful that he won't pursue higher paying opportunities for us. He's resentful that nothing he does is ever good enough for me. His salary increases to 92K with raises and cost of living adjustments. Instead of being happy, I point out how long it took to break 90K. Ask why it took 3 years to get $7,000 increase total. He says that's how corporate salary progression works in his field. Tell him maybe he's in wrong field if progression is that slow. Suggest he go back to school for MBA or switch to finance sector. He says he has no interest in finance and likes accounting work. Tell him he needs to think about our future and potential family. Can't raise kids on accountant salary in this economy. I insist. He points out we're living comfortably and could afford kids now easily. Say, I don't want to just afford kids, I want to give them better. Start making comments about his income in front of his family gatherings. His brother mentions his own recent promotion and salary increase casually. Immediately compare it to my husband's stagnant career trajectory publicly. His mother gives me disapproving look, but I ignore it completely. His father changes subject, clearly uncomfortable with my public criticism. Husband goes quiet for rest of evening and barely speaks to me. On drive home, he tells me to stop disrespecting him in front family. Tell him I'm just being honest about his lack of career progress. He says my honesty feels like constant attack on his worth as provider. Argue that if he provided better, I wouldn't need to criticize so much. He goes completely silent and sleeps in guest room that night. 4 years in, and our marriage deteriorating rapidly under constant criticism. He works late more often, probably to avoid coming home to complaints. When he is home, he's distant and disengaged from me emotionally. Stop sharing anything about his work because I just criticize it. I interpret his withdrawal as proving my point about his lack drive. Tell my friends he's checked out of marriage and doesn't care anymore. They ask if maybe my constant criticism is pushing him away from me. Get defensive and say, I'm trying to motivate him to be better version. Friends exchange glances but don't push back on my narrative about situation. Notice he's started looking at me differently, like he doesn't recognize me. Catch him looking sad sometimes when he thinks I'm not watching him. Feel twinge of guilt, but push it down, because I'm right about career. 5 years in, and he stops engaging with my criticism entirely now. I complain about his income, and he just nods and walks away. Try to start discussion about his career, and he says not discussing. Ask why he won't even try to improve situation for us anymore. He says nothing. He does will ever be enough, so why bother trying? Tell him that attitude is exactly why he's stuck in same position. He laughs bitterly and says, stuck position pays all our major bills. Point out I contribute too with my non-profit salary, of course. He says yes. Your $45K that you chose because impact matters more. Says funny how impact matters for your career, but not for mine. Tells me I want credit for noble, low-paying work, but criticize him constantly. Wake-up call moment, but I'm too defensive to really hear him. Discover he's been talking to divorce lawyer when I see email notification. Confront him about it, and he admits he's done with marriage. Feel shocked even though our relationship has been terrible for years. Ask how he can throw away 6 years of marriage so easily. He says easily, is interesting word choice given how hard I made it. Tells me he's tired of being treated like failure when he's successful. Tired of constant criticism about income that provides comfortable life for us. Tired of being compared to other men and found lacking every time. Tells me he filed for divorce and moving forward with it regardless. Feel panic rising because didn't actually want divorce, just wanted motivation. Try to convince him to go to marriage counseling. Work things out. He says no, he's done and already made decision to leave marriage. Tell him he's being rash and throwing away our life together stupidly. He says what? Life the one where you resent everything about career. Asks when's last time I said anything positive about him or work. Realize I can't remember single compliment I've given him in years. Tell him I was just trying to push him to be better reach potential. He says he's already good enough and always was. I just refuse see. Says finding someone who actually appreciates him instead of resenting him. Walks out and stays at friend's place while divorce proceedings start. Meet with divorce lawyer and start discussing financial settlement arrangements. Feel confident I'll get alimony given. He earns almost double my salary. Lawyer asks about length of marriage and income disparity between us. Explain he makes $95K now and I make $45K in nonprofit sector work. Lawyer says I might qualify for some temporary alimony given disparity. Ask about getting percentage of his income permanently since got used lifestyle. Lawyer explains that's not really how it works in our state laws. Alimony is temporary to help lower earner transition to financial independence. Usually lasts half the length of marriage, so maybe 3 years maximum. Feel first stirrings of concern about my financial future after this. Lawyer starts going through assets and division of property we own. Apartment we live in is in his name. Only he bought before marriage. Car is in his name, and he makes all payments from his account. Most furniture and household items purchased primarily with his income. My main assets are my retirement account and personal savings considerably smaller. Lawyer explains I'm entitled to half of marital assets accumulated during marriage, but most major assets were his before marriage or purchased with income. Start realizing my financial situation about to get significantly worse, not better. Always assumed his income would continue supporting me even after divorce. Never considered that criticizing his income meant I'd lose access entirely. Reality hits when lawyer explains post-divorce budget I'll be living on. My $45K salary will need to cover rent, utilities, car insurance, everything. Currently pay about $1,200 monthly for my share with his income covering rest. Will need to find apartment I can afford on my salary alone now. Lawyer estimates I'll need to budget around $2,000 monthly for basic expenses. That leaves very little from my $37.50 monthly take-home pay after taxes. Won't be able to afford apartment and neighborhood we currently live in. We'll have to move to cheaper area with longer commute to nonprofit job. Won't be able to afford same lifestyle I've been living with income. Spent 6 years criticizing income that was funding my comfortable life entirely. Divorce proceedings revealed just how dependent I was on income I criticized. He was paying 70% of our shared expenses, while I paid 30% roughly. His income covered our nice apartment car payments, health insurance, vacations. My income covered groceries, utilities, phone bills, and my personal expenses mainly. Never fully appreciated that his criticized income was funding our lifestyle. Assumed I was contributing equally, but math shows I was contributing less. He never complained about disparity or made me feel bad about earning less. Meanwhile, I spent years making him feel inadequate for not earning more. Now facing reality of living on just my income with no safety net. All those years of criticism, and turns out I needed his income desperately. Tell friends about divorce and expected alimony situation I'm facing now. They're sympathetic, but also point out irony of situation I'm in. Spent years complaining he didn't earn enough now, losing access to it. One friend bluntly asks what I expected would happen in divorce scenario. Assumed I'd still benefit from his income through alimony payments forever. Friend explains that's not how divorce works, especially after short marriage. Temporary alimony is meant to help transition, not maintain lifestyle indefinitely. Another friend mentions I always had option to increase my own income. Get defensive about my meaningful nonprofit work again, but sounds hollow. Realize I wanted credit for choosing impact over money while criticizing him. 3 months post-separation and living in small studio apartment now. Rent is $1,400 for tiny space compared to our spacious 2-bedroom. Can barely afford furniture, so apartment sparsely decorated with basics only. Commute to work now takes hour each way on public transit instead. Had to sell my car because couldn't afford insurance and payments alone. Eating rice and beans most nights to make grocery budget stretch far. No money for nice dinners out or entertainment like I used to enjoy. Friend invites me to expensive restaurant and I have to decline afford. She offers to pay and I feel humiliated accepting charity from friends. This is reality of living on $45K in expensive city with no support. Run into mutual friend who mentions my ex seems to be doing well. Apparently, he got promoted to senior accountant with nice raise recently. Now making around $110K doing job, I constantly criticized as dead end. Friend says he seems happier and more confident than she's seen years. Mentions he's dating someone new who works in his office building nearby. Feel jealous and bitter that he's thriving while I'm struggling to survive. Friend gently points out, I spent years telling him career wasn't good enough. Now he's advancing in that career after leaving marriage where I criticized. Says maybe my negativity was holding him back, not motivating him forward. Realization stings because she's absolutely right about what I did. 6 months after divorce finalized and barely making ends meet each month. Alimony payments help, but won't last forever, only 2 more years total. Need to figure out how to survive on just my salary long term. Consider looking for higher paying jobs, but that means leaving nonprofit sector. Jobs in my field that pay more require moving to corporate communications. Would mean giving up meaningful social justice work I always valued most, but also can't afford to keep doing meaningful work that pays little. Irony not lost on me that I'm facing exact choice I criticized him. He chose stable, well-paying career, and I criticized him for not earning more. I chose meaningful, low-paying career, and now can't afford to maintain. Apply for corporate communications jobs that pay $70K and up finally. Get offer for $72K position at tech company doing internal communications. Soul searching about whether to take job that feels less meaningful personally. Realize I have no choice if I want to live comfortably and save. Take the corporate job and feel like hypocrite after years of nonprofit. Remember telling my ex that meaningful work matters more than money always. Now doing exactly what I judged him for, prioritizing stable income over passion. Difference is, I'm making $72K and he's making $110K in career, I mocked. still earning less than him, even after abandoning my principles for money. Universe has sense of humor about teaching me lessons I needed learn. Year after divorce, and reflect on how I ended up in this situation. Spent 6 years of marriage criticizing husband's income as insufficient for us. Never appreciated that his income was funding comfortable lifestyle I enjoyed. Took for granted that he paid majority of our expenses without complaint. Focused on what he wasn't earning instead of being grateful for what provided. Made him feel like failure when he was actually successful, responsible provider. Constant criticism destroyed our marriage and my financial security simultaneously. Now, living on less money with more expenses, trying to rebuild life alone. He's thriving in career. I mocked with promotion and girlfriend who appreciates. I'm working corporate job I didn't want because nonprofit salary wasn't enough. Understand now that I was projecting my insecurity about my low income. Chose meaningful work over money, then resented him for my choice somehow. Wanted credit for noble career path, while criticizing his practical one constantly. Expected him to earn enough for both of us while I pursued passion work. Never acknowledged his income was subsidizing my ability to earn less voluntarily. Criticized the very thing that enabled my lifestyle and career choices fully. Destroyed marriage by treating provider like he wasn't providing enough ever. Lost access to income. I depended on while claiming I didn't need success. Expensive, painful lesson about gratitude and hypocrisy learned too late now. Realized good partner would have appreciated his stable career and income. 2 years post-divorce and alimony payments ending soon as expected originally. Adjusted to living on my corporate salary, but still miss old lifestyle. Still earning significantly less than my ex, who continues advancing career. Now, living proof that criticizing what you depend on means losing entirely. Most expensive lesson I've ever learned about gratitude, entitlement, and consequences.